good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a podcast from Orlando, Florida, on this awesome international podcast, Good Wine and Great Laughs, Season 9, Episode 11, ladies and gents. Welcome to Casa Casanova. If you are new to my podcast, ladies and gents, Good Wine and Great Laughs podcast is the podcast for wine lovers and hot topics. Every Saturday morning, here at 10 o'clock, you're going to see me introduce you the wine of the day. I always taste the wine, give the information that I know about this wine, and give my rate between 1 to 10, and I let you know if this wine make the cut to be my wine collection or not. The picture of the wine of the day is always available on my social medias, listed over there, ladies and gents. So if you like the review that I make it of each wine every Saturday, and if you like to try the wine that I'm presented, that's why the picture is available on my social medias, so you can take to the wine store and go ahead and find this wine over there. And if you do try any of the wine that's presented here on this podcast, I appreciate it. If you make a comment, go on the wine of the day picture or the episode, make a comment over there, or any of my social medias that's there. You can make a comment and let me know what you think about the wine, ladies and gents. So if you love wine and if you love hot topics, this is why the YouTube channel is for you. If you like my work, I appreciate if you click on the like button on every video that you watch. As well, subscribe to all my social media, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and also you can watch and follow me on Spotify. That's available for you. Also in all the major social media, you're going to see my podcast available for you, ladies and gentlemen. So I have over 160 plus episodes available on Spotify. Feel free to listen to it. Other topics there has been discussed on this YouTube channel, ladies and gents. So today is Saturday, October 12th, 2024, and the weather here in Orlando is going to be mostly sunny, highs of 84 and lows of 67, ladies and gents. And as you guys know, Hurricane Milton came through Florida and caused a lot of damage, and it came on my birthday. I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. A friend of mine said, happy hurricane birthday. I said, thank you. So I stayed in the house safe, God, thank God, doing some wine and resting and just going through the storm. Thank God nothing happened in my place of residency. And I moved my car to the international airport, the parking building, garage. I put my car right there because I don't want to see no issues whatsoever, ladies and gents. So let's jump on the wine of the day, ladies and gents. I have another wine, the Kings of Prohibition. This is a Chardonnay. For those that never heard, I already have a first one that I had. Was this one right here. There's a red blend, King of Prohibition right there. And today I'm tasting the Chardonnay version of the same brand, and according to the label, it states right here that the Kings of Prohibition Chardonnay, white wine from the southeast of Australia. Kings of Prohibition Chardonnay is gently textured, crispy flavors of a ripe stone fruit and nutty aromas, finished with oak nuances. From the great era of roaring 20s, Prohibition steamed the infamous Kings of Prohibition. During this dry period, many myths were born, and the story of the bootleggers, such as Stella de Lamont, became legends, setting the path for wine distribution around the world. Alcohol percent of this wine, ladies and gentlemen, is 13.5. Once again, this is Australian wine, Kings of Prohibition. So it's a limited release. The bouquet of this wine is Pretty good. Ladies and gents, a very good Chardonnay. Very good. I definitely give a 10 for this one. Very tasty. Highly recommend. If you like Chardonnay, ladies and gents, you definitely going to like the King's excuse me, of a Prohibition, ladies and gents. So let's jump on the topic of the day. The topic of the day is the full list of Republicans who voted no to increase FEMA fundings, ladies and gents. What you're going to start watching with me while I keep drinking this wine. I am going to play 3 videos, and I went all the way to the back because I don't want to hear an excuse about Republicans. Oh, that's the first time. No, Republicans has a record since the Sandy hurricane. So I went all the way back to some videos of some reports of Republicans voting no to increase the funds for FEMA in case of hurricanes and any natural disasters. So let's watch these videos right here, ladies and gents. I'll keep drinking my wine, and like I always do, I give you my 2 cents about what I think about the whole situation. So it is showtime.
A week of being attacked for not passing any Sandy relief, John Boehner and Republicans in the House earlier today finally passed at least something, sort of a down payment on relief for those affected by Hurricane Sandy. And so we're talking about here $9.7 billion passed. Now, this is not nearly as large as what the Senate had passed, which was $60 billion. So that's already passed there. But finally in the House, they make some progress, although it's interesting to note that 67 Republican lawmakers voted against even this limited aid to Sandy victims.
What was the story with the
67, this is Hurricane Sandy 11 years ago, ladies and gents. Just remember, 67 Republicans at the time voted no to provide relief.
initial decision not to pass it? Was it really just petty bitterness? Like we just got our ass kicked?
I think he didn't want to do any more spending within that context. Now, so
sort of. That's
petty, right?
Like you didn't get any cuts. We didn't get any spending cuts, so I'm not going to authorize this spending right now.
Right, and it's not just that. The Club for Growth, which is a right-wing organization, which is very, very powerful, helped get Senator Pat Toomey elected, Marco Rubio elected, et cetera, said that they're grading this, and that if you vote for that extra spending, they're going to mark it against you and say you're not as conservative. So they're really mad at the people who voted for hurricane relief. This is not a small conservative organization. It's a very large conservative.
Club for Growth is a big deal.
Yeah, so a lot of the Republicans, as you pointed out, over 60 of them voted no because...
Even just for this small amount.
Right, and get a load of this, including Republicans from states like Louisiana. When it's hurricanes that hit Louisiana, they vote yes. When it's hurricanes that hit somewhere else, they vote no. By the way, the Republicans from New York, New Jersey area, when it hits them, they raise a furor over it. When it comes to spending to help anybody else in any other context, oh no, we got to cut spending, man. We just got to cut spending.
Let's keep an eye on Peter King.
Yeah, absolutely.
And future disasters.
And look, but to me, this is the critical difference between the two parties. Is the government there for all of us to help one another in times of need, or is it everybody for themselves, sad day for you, that's it? And the Republicans actually are not fully in the camp of sad day for you. What they're really mainly in the camp of, no, when I need the help, you give me the money. And corporate tax giveaways, shoot, we do that all the time, right? So when the corporations who fund us need the money, absolutely, let's give $110 billion in subsidies to the oil companies. But when it's you, when it's the middle class who's not funding my campaign, when it's the poor, when it's not somebody in my district, well, of course I'm not going to give you money. So that's their governing philosophy. So spare me the crocodile tears about the Hurricane Sandy coming from Republicans.
Yeah.
They should have gotten the money, but in asking for the money, they are basically admitting that their philosophy is wrong.
Yeah, it's funny that you talk about the difference between the two parties in regards to this. I apologize, I don't have his name anymore, but one of the new Republican representatives said that while I believe he was in favor, he voted for this, he said that in the future we really need to get to the private sector taking care of disaster cleanup and stuff like that. And look, sometimes the private sector does help. Like Walmart donated, I think, $25 million to help the Sandy victims. That's $25 million out of something over $60 billion they need to get back on their feet.
No.
So
and
even after all these disasters, they're not learning the lesson.
No. By the way, that's not what he means. What he means is we should outsource this.
Yeah,
so,
right.
so we should privatize FEMA. No, I'm not kidding. They want to do that. In fact, they brought in Blackwater during Hurricane Katrina, and they paid Blackwater for some of the help in that area. And of course, what happened in the rebuild? Just wild coincidence. A lot of the contractors that donate to the Republican Party wind up getting really inflated deals to rebuild some of those areas. Wild coincidence, I am sure. But yeah, they would love to privatize it so that, by the way, it costs the government more money.
Yeah.
The same amount to clean up plus 25% or more profit margin for their donors.
Yeah.
Trey Radell from Florida.
Oh, thank you.
He's the guy who said that it should be privatized. Speaking, I'm sure, I don't have any problem for
You
probably
go. From Florida, huh?
Republican members of the House.
Would
And so-
agree with him, probably.
Yeah, would agree with him. Yeah.
Man, this is a full-scale merger of business and government.
Ladies and gents, the next video is about Marco Rubio right here in Florida. 2 years ago, that did not vote for when they have the voting related to FEMA and climate change. Check this out.
Let's bring in now a Democratic nominee for United States Senate from Florida, Congresswoman Val Demings. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being here. I know we had a little bit of a sound issue to get you on board, so thank you. I'm glad you stuck with us and got through the tech. But I do want to ask you kind of a similar question. You know, you're running against Marco Rubio, who, you know, he didn't take the move to vote against the allocation that was just passed by Congress, the House and the Senate for Florida, but he didn't show up to vote for it. He actually didn't vote at all. The entire Florida Republican House caucus voted against the money to help Florida through Hurricane Ian. Your opponent didn't vote at all. Is there any sign that he pays a price for that?
Well, Joy, it's good to be with you. And what a strange time we find ourselves in. He should pay a price for that. You know, our primary responsibility as elected officials is to protect the health, safety, and well-being of the people that we serve. And if there's any time, Joy, that we should lay politics aside, it dang on should be during a natural disaster, especially one like Hurricane Ian, that over 100 people have lost their lives. Many people have lost everything they own. This is a tough time. And for Marco Rubio to not vote at all, which is almost worse, because at the very least he could do is to show up and do his job. But to not show up at all, to me, not showing up, being absent is a no. And so when people needed him the most in Florida, in his home state, he was not there. And so there certainly should be a price for him to pay. Florida deserves better.
You know, what's interesting about Marco Rubio's career, just having lived down there a long time and sort of watched how he works, is that he seems to walk toward what feels like the middle position, the centrist position on things like immigration, where his staff helped write the bill that was going to be finally solving the immigration issue, which we know must be solved somehow. And he got really close to it and then Rush Limbaugh yelled at him and then he went, no, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm against it. And now on this, I mean, he voted because he decided he was then a born-again Tea Partier. He was against the aid for Hurricane Sandy. He said, well, that was full of pork. I didn't want to vote for that. He recently justified it. And now when it comes to Hurricane Ian, it does feel like he can't vote for the money because the MAGAs won't like it and the Tea Party won't like it, but he won't vote against it. I don't understand what his politics are, and yet he is being rewarded for it in the polls. Why do you suppose that is?
Well, Joy, you know, our job in this race is to make sure that people understand who the real Marco Rubio is. And look what you just talked about an immigration bill. Now, he'll complain about border security, which we all understand we need to secure our borders. No, we do not have open borders. That's almost an insult to the men and women on the ground there who protect our borders. But he will appear that he's walking towards the right thing. But people need to look at where Marco Rubio always seems to end up, and that's the wrong thing. He actually encouraged people not to vote for the immigration bill, which he claims is his bill, after, as you indicated, one person yelled at him. And so the bottom line is, what did Maya Angelou say? When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Over and over again, time and time again, when Florida has needed Marco Rubio the most, he has not shown up. And so Florida, again, we deserve better.
Let me ask you about, you obviously come from that Central Florida region. Your home is there, or we don't know how Orange County, if you could just elucidate us. How did Orange County fare? I know that the Tampa area dodged a bit of a bullet, but we know there's still a lot of destruction everywhere. How is your district faring?
Well, Joy, it's interesting. I had just gotten back from Puerto Rico as the chair of the Emergency Preparedness Response and Recovery Subcommittee. We went there to assess the damage and came home to Hurricane Ian. Look, we had a tremendous amount of flooding here in the area. Over 200,000 people were without power. Thank God power has been restored for the overwhelming majority of those people. But we had a lot of flooding in the area. We had an opportunity to go out with the FEMA administrator and have a briefing and tour some areas. And so we certainly have a long ways to go, but we were not hit anywhere near as hard as, you know, the Fort Myers, Lee County area was. I'm glad the president was there today. I hope that it was a beneficial trip for him and that there weren't too much politics being played down there. But as I said, at this time, during this critical time in Florida's history, we need somebody who wants to govern, somebody that wants to take care of all people, somebody who wants to vote for $18.8 billion in disaster relief for people who desperately need it. And so if there are people who are listening who'd certainly love to support my campaign, I certainly would love their support. My website is valdemings.com.
The first rule of being on TV as a candidate, always give out the website. And you've done that. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you, Congresswoman Val Demings. Thank you.
And as residents, emergency crews, and relief organizations sift through the wreckage Hurricane Ian left in its wake, the spotlight now shines on Washington to make sure funding is available when needed. But despite the destruction in their home state, Florida Republican Senator Rick Scott and every House GOP member, 16 in total, voted against a stopgap budget bill this week that included an additional $18.8 billion into FEMA's disaster relief fund. The question, is this a good look for Republicans in Florida's time of need? For more, we are joined by Niall Stanage, White House columnist at The Hill. Niall, thank you so much for being here.
Good to be here, Natasha.
So why are Senator Scott and other Republicans saying that they voted against this bill?
For reasons that are unrelated to its aid for FEMA. Senator Scott in particular has said that if the aid to FEMA provision was spun off and given a standalone vote, that he would have backed it. The other Republicans are arguing two things in essence. One, that just allowing the government to go forward broadly, funded as before, enables the Biden administration to continue with its agenda untrammeled, and obviously Republicans oppose that. There is also a bit of congressional back and forth because this new continuing resolution to fund the government ends in mid-December, and many Republicans would have preferred that extended into the new year to a point where they hope to control the House of Representatives.
Interesting. Well, in the eyes of Republicans, how does this stopgap measure differ from ones in the past that averted government shutdowns?
Well, I don't think it does to a great extent, except that Democrats are in control of all the levers of government, the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives for right now. There has been a history of Republican members in particular expressing skepticism of specific aid measures in the past, none more plainly than back in 2012 when Superstorm Sandy hit New York and New Jersey very, very hard. At that time, we had Governor DeSantis, who was then a congressman, complaining about a put it on the credit card tendency. And other prominent Republicans like Senator Ted Cruz also opposed to aid in that instance.
You know, I want to talk about the other back and forth that we're tracking right now. An aide to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis calling out Vice President Kamala Harris for suggesting distribution of storm aid should first go to poorer communities and communities of color. He said that, or rather the aide is accusing her of causing undue panic with that statement. If you go back, though, and look at DeSantis's record while in Congress, he voted against aid to help victims of Hurricane Sandy. So why the about-face now?
Remember that, Floridians?
So
like I say, when the governor, this piece of shit, this Satan was the governor, he voted no again for Sandy, for the people in New Jersey that got hit and got this destroyed by this doggone Hurricane Sandy. And that piece of shit called this Satan, that is unfortunately the governor of this state, now vote no.
I think the point with Vice President Harris is a little different in that the argument there is that is she suggesting that aid be dispersed with a view toward looking at impoverished communities or communities of colour and giving them aid first? Now, I think her answer that has become so controversial was a bit more complex than it is being portrayed. I think she was talking about the broad issue of environmental justice and long-term resilience for some communities. But the issue that is being become a political hot button or political debate is this suggestion that aid would go first to, as I say, marginalised or low-income communities or communities of colour. Governor DeSantis's campaign aide saying that that isn't the case, that FEMA aid is available to everyone, which is indeed a true statement.
And Niall, in natural disasters like this, certainly an opportunity to put politics aside, right? And for both sides of the aisle to come together. Are we seeing that in the way that Biden and DeSantis are working together now? And is all of this just a distraction on the side? Or what would you say? How is this going so far?
I think in relation to President Biden and Governor DeSantis, they have to some extent put their other political differences.
Ladies and gents, let me pause it right here, okay? For those that can watch my YouTube video, can see that this is the Florida Republicans that vote against. That's 2 years ago on the Ian Heat. Matt Gaetz, Neon Dunn, Kat McCormick, John Rutherford, Michael Waltz, Bill Paisley, Daniel Webster, Gus Bilirakis, Scott Franklin, Vernon Bookman. So I can't see because that's Greg, that's another Brian, Byron Reynolds, Mario Diaz Butler, and Carlos A. Gimenez and Maria Elvira Salazar, all Republicans that vote against spending bill that include $18.8 billion in funds for FEMA, and especially Florida. Moving forward.
Differences aside, there was some awkwardness at the start when the president had not called the governor. Then he did so. They have suggested that they will be able to transcend their political differences. But I don't think we should underestimate the intensity of those differences. Governor DeSantis has criticised President Biden in very, very personal terms at times. I also don't think it would do Governor DeSantis's 2024 ambitions a great deal of good to wed himself very closely to President Biden. So they're transcending politics to an extent, but I don't think you can ignore the political dynamics that are at play.
Yeah, that's an interesting dance and an interesting balance that's happening right now. I do want to note we had planned to speak with Congressman Byron Donalds representing Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Bonita Springs, and Naples. Unfortunately, he's having some connection issues at this time. So we're going to try to bring him back a little later in the show. Niall Stanich, I know you're going to stick around as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Natasha.
Thank you for.
And ladies and gents, as you watch with me these 3 videos that's played, so I wrote it down. I was doing some notes right here. So between Hurricane Sandy, that was 11 years ago, and 2 years ago, and Helene that just came through, and now have Milton, and they have a vote in the House, and they decide to bounce before they got in some kind of recess. They decide to vote no. Let me hold on for a second. Let me just go through my phone here real quick because I saw this on TikTok and I just took a picture of it. And let me see right here. Where is it? All right. All right, ladies and gents. Just this vote that just happened before Helene hit United States. These are the list of Republicans that vote no to give. Beside that, was showing video 2 years ago that I saw the list. That's also Matt Gaetz again, Byron Donalds, Florida, Matt Gaetz, Florida, Kate or Katz, Kamak, Florida, Aaron Bean, Florida. Okay, Gaetz, District number 1, Byron Gaetz, Florida, District 19. Kat Kamak, Florida, District 3. Aaron Beans, Florida, District 4. Michael Watts, Florida, District 6. Corey Mills, Florida, District 7. Bill Posey, Florida, District 8. Gus Bilirakis, Florida, District 12. Ana Paula Luna, Florida, District 13. Lauren Lee, Florida, District 15, and Danny Webster, Florida, District 11, and Rick Scott, Senator, was abstained. He did not show up for vote. And this heifer right here, Ana Paulina Luna, she was on her X, they used to be Twitter, talk about Kamala Harris calling out DeSantis because he did not answer the phone call from the vice president related to give help to Floridians and to the state in case we need dealing to the Helene hurricane. And this piece of crap did not want to answer the phone call because he was saying it's political. Vice President was doing her job to provide anything and any help that the federal government supposed to give to the state, such as in Georgia and in Tennessee and other states, the governor, North Carolina, the governor said, thank you very much, we're working together. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gents, politics should not be involved. If you're a politician, and if you're in the position of leadership, your position is to serve the people. So I want to just make them up because that's one thing that really pissed me off. Because Floridians keep seeing these idiots right here, especially DeSantis. I can't stand DeSantis. This piece of crap passed some laws to deny that you're not going to talk about no climate change. There's no climate change discussion on the state right now. So anything related to climate change, he wants just erase from the books. We're not going to discuss that. Meanwhile, Florida getting really raped left and right. Okay, this piece of crap want to erase African American history from the school, want to ban books, want to have a fight against doggone drag queen. I can care less about the drag queens as long they're not hurting nobody or no child, or no, they're living their lives like everybody else. I don't care about the drag queen. Like Governor Walz say, mind your business, mind your own damn business. Everybody here, and that's something that's really pissed me off, because I'm seeing here Florida getting raped. This DeSantis, I'm telling you right now, this Satan, I didn't call this DeSantis, this Satan, this piece of crap, end up getting some cahoot with the insurance companies. I'm telling you right now, everybody, do not move to Florida. Because if you want to buy a house in Florida, you're going to be raped. Tell you right now, bring a lube. If that's what you like, come to Florida. Because I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people, house owners, that cannot get now insurance to cover because a lot of insurance companies left from Florida. Because another thing too, the whatever deal that DeSantis end up having with insurance companies to give money to his campaign, that's what's happening. He comes, the adjuster comes to the people's house. There's a lot of reports related to that. You can Google if you don't believe me. The adjusters come to the house, look at the damage. Hey, the damage probably $200,000. So the people from the house say, oh yes, thank you. Now the adjusters send that documentation to the insurance company. The insurance company end up altering his report, put the adjuster's name on the report, and then say, oh no, according to the information justice, your house now is only worth $13,000. So now the people that own the house end up cussing and threatening the adjuster's lives because they think that's the adjuster's fault, but it's not. And this is all about DeSantis. So this man is a piece of crap. And one thing that really pissed me off, because Republicans, people that live here in Florida, see all this happen. But they still voting for these people. Which sense does that make? You are voting for somebody that don't give a damn about you. Don't give a damn about your house. Now, if you went through Helene, if you went to Milton, and your house has been destroyed, look at your congressman. The people on this street now, Matt Gaetz, Baron Donalds, that always kissing Trump's ass. All these people are voting no. So please do me a favor. If you live on one of the districts, look at your congressman and please go right ahead now and blow the phone off. And let them know how you feel. And at the end of the day, you're the one that vote for them. So I'm sorry, but I don't feel sorry for those people that are still voting for these idiots in the office. And now your house is damaged. Your vehicle is flooded. Your business is gone. And guess what? All these people that you voted for, voted no for you to get any help. Now tell me how you feel. So, am I 100% glad with everything that the Biden administration did? With all the Democrats do? No, because that's other things that I disagree. But overall, the Democrats candidates are there for the people. That's why I'm a vote from top to bottom, all Democrats. Because Kamala Harris has a plan. And the Democrat Party has a plan to help people. Meanwhile, Republicans want to elect the felon king, the lion king, the rapist, the racist, the convict felon, 34 of them. And then another thing too, according to Project 2025, they want to Trump wins, they want to eliminate FEMA and NOAA. NOAA is standing for the National Organization of Related to the Weather that provide all the information to FEMA related to what's come. They want to eliminate all of that. So it doesn't make any sense. If you're a person of reasoning, if you're a person of facts, you're not in the cult. Even though if you vote for Republicans, I want you to think about it. Look at the facts. Forget about all these noises around. Look at the facts and look at the voting records of these people that represent the Republican Party and look at the vote of the Democrat. All Democrat parties, all members of Congress and the Senate, they vote yes to increase the funds for FEMA. Thank God in my neighborhood for the past 2 hurricanes and everything that's since passed, I'm in Florida since 2015. One thing that happened, some tree limbs that was all over the ground. Now, my apartment complex 2 weeks ago, they decided to cut a lot of the higher, some tree, service contractors. They cut a lot of tree limbs over here, and that was a good thing. But what I do normally when some hurricane, they say category 4 or 5, I live 5 miles from the international airport. I park my car over there. I park my car in the inside parking garage because I'd rather pay the airport maybe $50, $60 for the days that my car is there. Then my car is full insurance, but I don't want to deal with the hustle because when hurricanes comes, all the insurance companies, your claim is going to take forever to be, especially in Florida, to be taking care of it. And I do not have time for that. So I'd rather pay the airport, the airport fee, whatever, and have my car that's parked in I got a good spot, safe, I know, unless the building fall down. That's the only reason my car is going to be damaged. You know what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? So that's things that I do here living in Florida to avoid less damage. And I have a rent insurance on this place right here that's it's cover everything. Something happening, I get a check that's going to cover everything. So I'm just concerned about my documents, but that's safe as well. So I'm saying that to say this, ladies and gents. That's why it's important. Please do yourself a favor, all right? Forget about the noise. Forget about the noise about what Trump's saying. Just look at the facts. Look at those people and what they are doing. Because a lot of those Republicans, they want to get in power and they want to get the money of some special interests. House insurance, car insurance, all the special interests to make money for them so they can vote according to what they want. But forgetting about you, they're going to fearmonger you, they're going to talk a lot of trash, they're going to make you scared about the immigrants, the Haitians, they eat the pets and dogs, you know what I mean? They talk about the Mexicans, they don't talk about everybody. But the only thing they're going to talk about is talk about you and what they're going to do for you. So, that's my 2 cents of the day, ladies and gents. And that's the proof right now, because they never can say, oh, that's the first time they vote no. No, since 2011. So basically 3 hurricanes, Sandy, Ian, and Helene, they came through it. And all those Republicans, and a lot of people here in Florida, vote no to give you the funds that you need. And another thing too, because after the Helene came up here, there's a lot of debris in some areas in Florida that got affected. And those debris has not been cleared. CNN reported that on the area was about 2 trucks and has, I forgot the name of the truck that has a little thing that grab all the debris and put it on the bed of the other trucks to move. Have only 1 truck. DeSantis, he did not put nobody, no other thing, no resources, only 1 truck. And there was a lot of debris left, a lot. So I know for sure when the military came through, those houses and everything else got destroyed because the force of the winds and the debris that were left would help and cause a lot of damage because all this debris were in front of a bunch of houses. So ladies and gents, if you live in Florida or if you live in other state that has been damaged by any type of hurricane recently, or before, do not forget who are the ones. So even though they can come in the news right now or any social media and talk about, oh yes, Kamala Harris these, Biden this and that, keeping in mind that those people that run the mouth right now, talk about the size on the mouth, are the ones that vote no for you to get help. This is my 2 cents, ladies and gents. Please be safe, please be kind, and be blessed, and do the best what you can do, what you got. And I salute, and I see you next Saturday. For another awesome and international podcast episode and another awesome good wine. Please click on the like button, click on subscribe button, and if you like the work I do, I appreciate if you share this video and any other videos for your family and friends. Help me to increase the numbers of subscribers for this channel. Thank you very much. Holla!
Pushing my rap like the pusher on the block. Holding my down, sucker rappers get lost. Coming from the bottom, moving straight to the top. Coming with the pull up for the #1 spot. Pushing my rap like the pusher on the block. Holding my down, sucker rappers get lost. Coming from the bottom, moving straight to the top. Coming with the pull up for the #1 spot. Pushing my rap like the pusher on the block. Holding my down, sucker rappers get lost.